What's happening, folks? Welcome back to the channel. It is starting 11 prediction time for tomorrow's trip to Easter Road to face Hibs. Back to league duty after that heroic performance in Munich. Of course, ended in heartbreak for us. Overall, a brilliant trip. Just got back yesterday. I hope everybody that was there really enjoyed it. I love Munich as a city. I love the Allianz Arena as a stadium to watch football in. That's the second time I've seen Celtic there. But what a performance coming away from that. Obviously, it's tinged with a heartbreak at the end, and that is the thing that decides the tie, conceding that late goal. But I think all you can take from it is huge solace in the performance. To see Celtic go toe to toe with a team at that level in a knockout tie, and to take them into stoppage time where they had to scramble a winner across the line, tells you everything about how far we've come this season. I think it's huge vindication and validation of the work that Brendan Rodgers is doing. I think it should give us huge encouragement, moving ahead, looking ahead to next season. I know we have a qualifier to navigate to make the league stage again next season, which we've not had for a couple of years now, but I think the club have to look at that as the best example of the work the manager is doing. I think to play like that in that arena against that team, okay, they might have had an off night, but I think over the two legs, you probably expect us before the games to lose that convincingly, to lose it by a 3 or 4 goal margin, or maybe even worse if you look at Celtic's history against teams of that elite level over the last 10 years, and we've lost it by the odd goal in stoppage time. I think the way we played both legs, okay, first half and the first leg, maybe a wee bit passive, but I think we learned from that in the second leg. And like I say, to play against Bayern Munich away from home, where they're so strong, and play in that manner where we defended well, we contained them relatively well for most periods of the game, but we had spells on the ball, we had a real threat on the counter attack, we created numerous really, really good chances. Like I said in the full time reaction, that is all you can ask of a Celtic team. You can't expect that we rock up and play these teams and just win these games. But I think moving ahead with a template to perform at that level, if we can get these teams in close games and make a habit of it, then we will get back to winning the odd one. Like I say, you can't just expect to win every time you play a team like that. And if you look back the last 10 years, you can barely expect to compete. But we've shown through the growth and the progress this season that we can compete. And like I say, if we can make a habit of performing to that level and making these teams make sure they have a game, make sure it's not going to be easy when they play against Celtic. We're going to pose a threat on the counter attack. We're going to be difficult to create chances against. We become really awkward opponents at that level for teams at that elite level. I think that is the way to move forward, and I think it gives us huge, huge encouragement. It's the best performance that I've ever seen from a Celtic team in the flesh, going away from home in Europe to see them. It was obviously my 15th trip, lucky enough to see them 15 times, still waiting on a victory, which just added to the heartbreak of that Alphonso Davies equaliser at the end. But it's by far the best all-round performance that I've seen from Celtic away from home against a team of that level. It harks back to, I know we've had good wins in the competition away from home before against Anderlecht and Spartak Moscow, but nothing against a team of that level. It's back to like Martin O'Neill's days where we got a point at the new camp, and I just think to play in that manner, where we looked so balanced, we looked composed when we had the ball, we created chances, and like I say, we come within a minute of getting a remarkable result that would have took the tie to extra time. Really, really proud of the players, and like I say, the big thing moving forward now is that the club see that, and really back Brendan Rodgers and give him what he needs, because what he's done with this team this season over the I suppose the more than 18 months that he's been back now, but particularly the growth this season at this level is all the validation that they'll ever get about how well he's doing. And I think to just bolster the squad and improve it, whether it's quality on the bench, just improving the depth in certain areas, can really see us kick on again next season. Like I say, we'll come to the qualifier in the summer when we get to it, but we've got to take huge, huge encouragement from that performance the other night. I think that is the big takeaway for everyone. Now, Hibs tomorrow, Easter Road has from time to time been a difficult place for us to go. Hibs have turned their season around since we last played them. They were obviously languishing near the bottom of the table after a really poor start this season, but they're back up to 5th now. They're 34 points, and that middle pack in the league, there's not really much separating 10th to 4th. But Hibs find themselves in a really good spot now. They did draw 0-0 against St Mirren last weekend away from home. They were down to 10 men for a period in that game. Like I say, for us tomorrow, the big thing is going to be the mental and physical hangover from Tuesday. The players obviously put so much into the game, so many top performances. Everybody left everything on the pitch, and I think there's a bit of a mental hangover when you suffer a late goal like that to put you out of a competition. It really is a punch in the gut for the players, and so they just have to make sure that mentally they're reset and refocused and ready to go again tomorrow for what will be a tough domestic outing. So let's look at the team then and think about how many changes Brendan Rodgers is going to make. You would expect Kasper Schmeichel to keep his place in goal. He made 9 saves the other night. Now, not all of them were absolutely blinding saves that you wouldn't expect him to make, but he did have 1 or 2 really good ones. The one I forgot about in the full-time reaction was right after half-time, where Goretzka's through on goal and he comes out, narrows the angle, makes himself big, and makes the save. I think the one from Kimmich, the shot after the free kick that gets deflected as well, he had a number of really, really good saves, Kasper Schmeichel, and he's so unlucky because he makes another good save with that header from Musiala, I think it is. It's the sort of chip cross from Elise right under Kasper's body. He gets down to save it well, and then we don't get the luck. It comes out to Carter Vickers. He sort of slips. Davies is right on top of him to bundle it in. But I thought Kasper had a good night. It was a really strong performance from him, and like I say, he, along with everybody else, probably deserved extra time out of that tie for what he put into it. Back 4. I'm going a couple of changes. I think Ralston might come in at right back. Going to stick with the centre halves, Carter Vickers and Trusty, and I think it will be Taylor back in at left back. Alistair Johnston defended terrifically the other night. What a performance it was from him. Really, really good down that left hand side, up against Coleman, up against Davies even when he came on later in the game as well. Guerrero at times earlier in the game as well from fullback. I think there was a number of good blocks. His positioning was good. His desire and the leadership that he showed was absolutely brilliant. Really stood up and was counted in a difficult game away from home at that level. So huge credit to him. I just think that given his exertions the other night and Ralston obviously coming in once or twice recently, this might be another opportunity where Johnston just gets a rest from the start and Tony comes back in. The centre halves I thought were really good. I could tell from the stands looking down onto the pitch that Cameron Carter-Vickers was absolutely devastated with that equaliser. He'll feel that he could maybe have done better, reacted quicker. The only thing that I would say for him is as Kasper's making the save, he stops. He almost thinks, it looks as if he thinks it's going to go in, and he plants his feet and puts his hands in there, almost as if he's going to put them on his head because he's gutted that we've lost an equaliser. And in that split second, Kasper makes an unbelievable save. And if the big man if he hasn't planted his feet and he's still alive to get to the rebound, he might just get there a second quicker and be able to clear the ball before Davies is in on top of him. Listen, that's splitting hairs and things happen so fast in the game, but that's the only thing looking back at it. I think he himself might regret that he could just have reacted a wee bit quicker because the ball wasn't in the net from Musiala's header, and it looked like he was just about to put his hands on his head, but the ball was still alive. But other than that, I think the two of them defended really well all night. I think collectively as a team we defended well all night, and I think they deserve huge credit for their performance as well. Trusty alongside them, very, very rare in the game that you thought they look out of their depth there. And you've seen that over the years. Celtic away from home in Europe, we generally go through a 10-15 minute spell in games where it looks like we couldn't keep chickens out of close. That's not the case now, and it certainly wasn't the case the other night. They looked like they belonged at that level. Craig Taylor to come back in for Jeffrey Schlupp, who I thought was absolutely excellent on the night, defended really well. A couple of early switches over to Elise. You could tell they were really trying to target that area and get the ball switched out to their right hand side really quickly, but I thought up against him he was really good. He won a lot of aerial challenges up against him. His positioning was good. He made blocks, even on the ball at times as well. He's got a bit of dynamism about him. He's got pace. He's got strength. I thought he was really, really good all round on the night, Jeffrey Schlupp. But I think this is because he's not played so much football. That's an opportunity for Greg Taylor to come back in and keep that freshness in the back four. Midfield, I'm going McGregor, Engels and Luke McCowan. Last weekend I thought Engels would come out and McCowan would come in, but Engels was the player that was on the bench and Hatate kept his place. I'm just going to go for the opposite tomorrow. I think Luke will come in, Vio might drop to the bench. I think again it's a lot to ask of Callum McGregor. He was really good the other night as well. All three in midfield, I talked about it before the game, they all have to have big nights, and I think in their own ways they all did have really, really good performances. Engels in that first half was incredible. Talked about him in a bit of detail in the full-time reaction. I thought Hatate first half as well. The thing that I omitted or forgot just in the aftermath right outside the stadium is that chance for Maeda where Engels puts it across. Comes off the back of a lovely ball for Hatate. I think it's either Kuhn. I think it's Kuhn that plays it into Hatate's feet and he just plays that first time ball, slideville pass, straight into Engels' feet, and we're really unlucky if Maeda's an inch or two forward. He probably sticks it in the net. So I thought they were all three of them individually and collectively good on the night. I just think one of them will have to come out. It's actually a shame Bernardo's injured because you probably bring both Hatate and Engels out after their exertions and let Bernardo and McCowan take over, but we don't have that option with Paulo injured. So going McCowan and Engels in midfield. Right hand side, I don't expect Nicholas Kuhn to play. He obviously came off after scoring that goal. I think he shows great composure at the goal. I think Kim Min-jae just dives in, but again, Kuhn's there. Maeda's done really well to keep it alive, and more than just keeping it alive, he stabs it into a great area for Kuhn to run onto. It's just ahead of him, enough ahead of him that he can get there. And like I say, Kim just sort of slides in too early. Kuhn nicks it by him, and he shows great composure just to take a touch and slide it past Manuel Neuer, who's an imposing figure in the goals. Again, it's not easy going one-on-one with a goalkeeper, particularly one of that size, but he slots it away, and that was the goal we deserved in the game for our play up to that point. So it's a shame that he's going to be out. Well, I don't know the length or extent of the injury, but I don't expect him to play tomorrow given that he's come off the other night. Go Jota on the right hand side. I'm going to keep Dyson on the left though. Listen, we could see Yang start the game. That's what happened last weekend after the first leg. I just think this is enough of a tough domestic away game that will want most of the key players in there. I'm going Dyson on the left hand side and Adam Ida through the middle. Again, Ida has that luxury of only having played 30-35 minutes the other night, so he's not got the same toll and the same load in his legs as most of his teammates, so he should be fresh enough to start the game. He plays a really vital part in the goal as well. The ball up to him and then he plays it down the channel, and then obviously Dyson's able to keep it alive. I think he had a decent effect on the game, Adam Ida. It was just a shame. I suppose I think the only real chance after we went 1-0 up was Dyson's header at the back post, where he just couldn't quite get there in enough time to get enough purchase on it, and it was straight at Manuel Neuer. You were just hoping for one final chance to be carved out for us if we were going to perform the miracle and actually nick the tie right at the end, but it wasn't to be. I think Dyson obviously put so much into the game as well, so like I say, it wouldn't surprise you necessarily to see Yang come in there, but I just think this is a tough game. We want to get the 3 points, and hopefully if we can start the game well, which will be a challenge after Tuesday, mentally and physically, as I say, but start the game well and then we can make the changes later on in the game to bring off any of these key players who have put so much in to Tuesday night. So there you go. That's 11 I think the manager will go with tomorrow. You can let me know who you think will start in the comments below. Please like the video, and we'll be back with you tomorrow outside Easter Road with the full-time reaction. Thank you.